Today is the last day of Hanukkah, and I'm assuming that everybody had a nice yontif, family gatherings as usual, and parties. We had a great event at Shul on Monday night, a lot of people, a lot of fun. At the same time, we're aware that this is a time of crisis. Every day we see Rahman al-Islam soldiers that are being taken from us in the battles in Gaza. So a lot is going on. I'd like to share with you an idea about Hanukkah, and hopefully it will apply to the current situation. It will give us some focus. So we have a pasuk at the beginning of the Torah. I think everybody knows the pasuk. V'ha'aretz haisa sohu vavohu. And the land was tohu. Before Hashem created the world, there was vast emptiness. That's tohu. Vohu could also be defined as emptiness, but it could also be associated with panic, behola, confusion, a state of frenzy, because there was such disorder that it was overwhelming. And then the pasuk says, "V'choshech," there was darkness, al pnei sehom, on the depths. So we have a tradition. The Medrash says that there are 4 exiles after Golus Mitzrayim, which means after we left Egypt and came into Eretz Yisrael, there would be 4 more. And that's what the pasuk is alluding to. So, for example, Tohu, the emptiness, was Golus Bavel, the exile by the Babylonians, because they destroyed the Beis Hamikdash, and therefore the land was empty. That fits. Vohu, remember we said, is perhaps confusion and panic. Well, that fits into Golus Madai, which means Persia. Haman, the miracle of Purim. Everyone was in a panicked state because of the decree, the threat of annihilation. Let's skip to Tehom, the depths. That would refer to Golus Edom, the present Golus, because it seems to be very deep. It goes on and on like the depths of the ocean. When is it going to end? And then we have Choshech, the darkness. And that is the miracle of Hanukkah. That's Golus Yavan, the exile of Yavan. What's interesting is that Choshech in general is a metaphor for exile because we're afraid, we're alone, we feel abandoned. It's a curious point because Golus Yavan, we never left Eretz Yisrael. The miracle took place in the land of Israel. And we had the Beis Hamikdash. It was defiled and contaminated, but we had it. The building was standing. So why, out of all of the 4 exiles, is the miracle of Hanukkah, Yavan, associated with darkness? So the Sfarim say, this isn't my chiddush, but we have to appreciate the message, that the whole aim, the purpose of the Greek persecution was not to take away our identity as Jews in the cultural sense. They had no problem with a building that stood in the center of Yerushalayim called the Holy Temple. They just wanted it to be a cultural center, not a religious place of worship. They didn't care if we were identified as Jews in terms of a common history, in terms of a social structure. So in other words, they didn't mind bagels and lox on Sunday morning or latkes. Prior to the Nes of Hanukkah, they didn't have latkes, but you know what I mean. That they didn't care about. They didn't want the Kedusha, the holiness of what it means to be a Jew. So therefore, Bris Milah, that's what distinguishes us as having a guf, something very physical that can be elevated. It can be considered holy. And the same with Shabbos and Rosh Chodesh, that our time is precious. We sanctify the time. It's not just any other day of the week, the Yom Tovim. Kashrus, also, food is not just food. It's not just fuel for the body, but what we eat can affect us. They wanted to dilute that. They said you can be Jews, just don't identify as being connected to a religion. And Chazal say they darkened our eyes, they affected our emotions. They said you don't have a portion in the God of Israel, meaning be Jewish without the religion. And that's really what darkness is. Imagine a room that's very beautifully decorated, wonderful furniture, dining room set, couches, everything is perfect, paintings, artwork. If the lights are off, you don't see it, you don't appreciate it. So we had the Kedusha inherent to us, but they wanted to cover it. They wanted to mask it and to say that it really doesn't exist, to fool us. And we have to emerge from Hanukkah with this awareness that we are a people, ultimately because of the Torah, because of our faith. And we have to have that conviction. Hanukkah has to invigorate us and say that we identify not just in the sense that we have a homeland, we have Israel, but we have a religious connection to the land. We have a religious connection to each other. I was just in Starbucks yesterday, and I walked in and someone said, the barista said, Happy Hanukkah. So obviously I said, Happy Hanukkah back, he's Jewish. Then somebody else walked in with a Magen David, and I said, I admire your Star of David. He said, yeah, my wife, she's from Haifa. So there's connections. But the connections can't just be because there's a holiday. It has to be that we share the same source, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, the Imahos, we share the Torah, and that's what really is under assault right now. And if we prove to really sharpen our connection to Hashem and to our faith that He's going to provide miracles for us and we're going to come out of this better than we were before, so then we have defeated the whole purpose of the Greeks, the choshech, the darkness that they tried to lay upon us. Hashem did a miracle for us once upon a time, and Be'ezus Hashem will do so again. So with whatever is left of Hanukkah, I wish you a happy Hanukkah, and we should go Mechayel El Chayel. We should be able to see miracles by Yemim Hahem, but we need it Bizman Hazeh. Good Shabbos.